Morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who has joined us today live or are watching this session recording later. My name is Prashant Vardhan, and I'm one of the members of the organizing team for this bootcamp. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Salesforce Marketers Group Singapore is super excited for organizing the biggest Salesforce Marketing Cloud Bootcamp program in this region. The plan for this bootcamp is to cover 65 plus sessions on a wide variety of topics covering the various Salesforce Marketing Cloud products. To present these topics, we have invited some of the leading industry experts from across the globe. A very big thank you to one and all who are part of this wonderful Trailblazer community. Few housekeeping rules. For any questions during the session, please feel free to use the chat box. We will answer them during the session itself. For any questions post the session, please use the short link shown on the screen or scan the QR code. This will take you to a Google form where you can drop in your questions and we can get back to you with the answers later. All our sessions are recorded and uploaded on our YouTube channel. To access them, please use a short link shown on the screen or scan the QR code. Lastly, to sign up for all the upcoming sessions for this bootcamp, please visit our Trailblazer community page by using the short link or scanning the QR code. Here is the agenda of today's session, which is episode 20, Salesforce Marketing Cloud Bootcamp. Get to know about Salesforce Marketing Cloud Journey Builder. We'll have an introduction, then we'll go through Marketing Cloud Journey Builder events, send emails via Journey Builder, different Journey Builder activities. We'll have resources and Q&A, and we will be discussing about next session details. A shout out to the wonderful organizing team members who put in great effort for setting up these bootcamp sessions so that the Salesforce Trailblazer community can get access to quality learning. Abhishek Nagar, SFMC Technical Lead, Vishal Chawla, SFMC Solution Architect, myself Prashant, I'm a Salesforce Technical Lead, and Fanindra, who's a Chief Technology Evangelist and a Salesforce MVP. Over to you, Vishal.
Thank you, Prashant, for the introduction. Let me start by sharing my screen.
We can see your screen.
Okay. And if I switch my tab, you can see the Marketing
Yes.
Cloud, right? Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone who has joined us today for this session on Journey Builder. So, yeah, my name is Vishal Chawla. I'm a senior CRM manager at Jellyfish. I have two Salesforce Marketing Cloud certifications, and I'm one of the organizing team members who's conducting this Salesforce Marketing Cloud Bootcamp. Okay, so the agenda for today's session, Journey Builder. So first we'll go through what is Journey Builder. We'll try to understand what is Journey Builder, what are the use cases, what are the different types of journeys that we can create in Marketing Cloud, how do we create journey templates, how does the Journey Builder and dashboard look like, what's a Journey Builder canvas, the different entry sources that can be used to configure a journey, what are the different Journey Builder activities that are available, how do we create versions in Journey, and then we'll do a live demo. Okay, so before understanding Journey Builder as a tool in Marketing Cloud, let's understand what's a customer journey. So a customer journey is defined as a set of interactions that a customer or an end user of your business, of your website takes with your company's brand, product, or services across different touch points and channels. So touch points is basically where the customer is able to take some action. So they can reach out to the customer care, they can visit your website, they can use your app. So those are the touch points. Channels is what we use as a business, we use to communicate with our customers. So the communication could be in the form of email, SMS, push notifications, and so on. The key terms that we need to understand that I may be using across the session, like firstly is contact data, which is like the user information data, user data, which could be first name, last name, gender, membership status, and so on. behavioral data, which tells us the user behavior, what are the product interests, what are the different actions, events, and so on. And engagement data is respect to the communication channel engagement. For example, if it is email, then engagement data will tell us email opens, clicks, bounce, and so on. This is the general terminology that we will be using. Okay, so now coming to Journey Builder as a tool, which is part of the Marketing Cloud platform. So what is Journey Builder? Journey Builder allows us to build one-to-one customer experiences. So when I say one-to-one customer experiences, so imagine you're a website and there are thousands of users that interact with your website. Now, these users, you would want to take them through a specific journey, and that journey could be send them a welcome email. Then second communication could be send them an email telling more about your product, your offerings. Third, tell them about what is your specific USP, why you are better than the competitors, and so on. So that is a series of communication channels. And then later on, you would want them to provide you can provide them some offer or something which uh, makes them do a transaction with your business and ultimately leads to a conversion. So Journey Builder can be used to build such one-to-one customer experiences. So rather than taking actions at an individual customer level, what you do is you create a marketing automation program that could involve multiple channels, could be email, SMS, and that marketing automation program runs 24/7 on its own. So as and when new users enter the journey, they pass through the sequence of steps like receive email 1, receive email 2, receive email 3. In between, also check whether they have done certain action, whether they have opened the email, whether they have done a transaction, and then decide what's the next action that needs to be taken. So Journey Builder allows you to build such one-to-one customer experiences across channels at scale for your entire user base. And along with that, you also have a feature wherein you can test and optimize different marketing channels. So like, for example, email, you can try different subjects, different email content, copy, and so on. So you can also test and optimize, and eventually you are able to create good user journeys, good customer journeys that helps us increase the overall conversion. Journey Builder use cases. So the use cases can be divided into 3 categories: awareness and acquisition, onboarding and engagement, and lastly, retention and advocacy. So awareness and acquisition is about getting users come to your website, telling them about your products, your offerings, providing their information, welcoming new subscribers, encouraging them to do a first purchase, refer a friend. So once you've acquired users, once they're aware about your products, your offerings, then you can encourage them to take a next action, like do a sign up, download the mobile app, complete a survey, complete the profile, and so on. So each of this use case in itself would be a journey, which can be a series of emails, series of communication sent out to the user in an automated fashion, right? Then for retention and advocacy, once they are already a customer, you would want to convert that into a loyal customer so that there is a repeat purchase, there is re-engagement, win back. So if there is a subscription that is needed to be renewed every year, every month. So if there could be birthday or anniversary programs, in that case you can have a journey which tries to bring back the customers. Okay. So yeah, this is like the basics of Journey Builder and customer journey. Now we go into the specifics of what all is available in the platform as Journey Builder tool in Marketing Cloud. So within Marketing Cloud, and I'll show you these things when we see the live demo. So within Marketing Cloud, in Journey Builder, you can create different type of journeys. So first one is multi-step journey, then there is single send journey, and lastly transactional send journey. So multi-step journey is a journey that has a series of messages across channels. So it could be two SMS, then two emails followed by an SMS, followed by a push notification, and so on. A single send journey is more or less like your emails to your single send, wherein you have your list of users and you send out the emails in one go. But the difference here is Journey Builder, you can make use of Einstein features, which allow you to send the emails instead of sending all the emails at one particular time. You can use Einstein send optimization to send the emails to the users as per the time wherein they interact. There is a chance of more interaction. So some users may interact more during the morning, others may interact more during evening, and so on. So those Einstein features can be used in single send journey in Journey Builder. And lastly is the transactional send journey, which is not marketing messaging, but transactional messaging, which are triggered via API events. So a transaction means an order placed, order shipped for delivery, order delivered, and so on. So such kind of messages can also be sent via Journey Builder. For that, we use transactional send journey. Journey templates. So when you log into Marketing Cloud, these are some of the journey templates that are already available within Marketing Cloud accounts. So like abandoned cart journey, anniversary send, birthday journey, welcome journey, and so on. So instead of starting from a fresh journey, you could use these journey templates, or you can also create your own templates, which will show up under my templates. So if you're planning to create a journey and then roll that out across multiple BUs within Marketing Cloud, then you can create one journey, create a template out of that, and then share it across multiple BUs so that you don't have to create it multiple times for each BU. So that is journey templates. This is how the Journey Builder dashboard, the UI looks like. So when you go to Journey Builder under Journeys menu, this is the dashboard where you will see the list of all journeys. Left hand side, you also can create folders and organize your journeys by folders. You can search the journeys, you can see the status, the performance, last modified, and you use this button, create new journey, when you want to create a new journey. All these things we'll see in the demo part. Under analytics, you have analytics and filter option here. So under filter, you have these different options to filter the journeys that you see here by multi-step, single-step, transactional, or by their status, which is draft, scheduled, active, finish, and so on, and also by channel. Okay. Once you create a journey, like after when you go into one of these journeys, or when you create a new journey, you enter into the screen, which can be called as Journey Builder canvas, which is all the individual journey nodes, which I'll talk about in the later section, like what all different activities you can use in Journey Builder. And also you have several configuration options, like what will be the entry source for the journey, what are the different messaging nodes, how to create versions, and so on. So I'll talk about in detail during the demo. Okay. As I showed you here, there are different entry sources available. So what are these different sources? So on the right hand side, I have a screenshot of all the journey options. Left hand side is a we have a one line about each of those journeys. So API event, when will you use API event as an journey entry source? So journey entry source means how what all data, uh, what data segment or what data points would be considered for the journey entry point. Like whatever you configure as your entry source, that will become the data source for your journey, like the data which is ingested for your journey. And if that data has got, let's say, 100 rows, those 100 rows or those 100 subscribers will flow through these journeys through these different branches, depending on whatever decision nodes that we have. So entry sources is about how data is ingested into your journey, into the journey builder. So you can ingest data via API events, which is like triggering an API call through an external platform, like through your website or some other platform, wherein the user data is collected. And as soon as data is collected in the other platform, you trigger an API event in Marketing Cloud and the journey is initiated. Next, you can use an audience which is built in Audience Builder, which could be from your push, SMS, and other channels. You can use this audience and admit this as a list of contacts into the journey. Next, you can use Cloud Pages Smart Capture Form. So a Smart Capture Form, if you build it and on a cloud page, as soon as a user submits the Smart Capture Form, the user is entered into the journey. So that can also be a journey entry source. Data extension is your custom data extension that you have created in your Marketing Cloud account that can also act as a journey entry source. Event, which currently is available but is already scheduled for retirement, so not recommended to use it, but yes, it is used for adding customers based on a key contact date or a date relative to it. So date specific to a certain event, based on that you can use this to enter the users into the journey. Google Analytics 360, if you're using Google Analytics 360, you can create audiences in GA 360 and export them into Marketing Cloud, and these can be used in your journey builder as audience. In-app message event is used for retargeting users when they display or click a button in your in-app messages. Inbound chat is for users who send specific keywords on the chat. Mobile app event is for admitting users who take specific actions in your mobile app. Push message, same as mobile app, but for push notification. Lastly, Salesforce data is any Salesforce object or campaign data that you want to import from Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, other clouds, that can also be introduced into a journey as entry source. Okay, journey builder activities. So as I showed you, within this is the journey canvas. So you've configured your journey entry source. You have your user data ready. Now you build the journey by using different nodes that are available. So so the different type of nodes that are available are message nodes. Then you have advertising nodes, flow control, customer updates, and sales and service cloud. So how I like to think of a journey is a journey would broadly have two category of nodes. One is your message nodes, which is your actual email, your actual SMS, push notification, the actual communication that a user gets to see on his or her email, phone, etc. So that's a communication node. And second is any other node, which is a non-communication node, but which can be used to take some decision or create branches, add some delay, which is not something that an end user will get to see, but that is used to configure the journey flow or the journey path. So that is how generally I divide the nodes into two categories: message nodes and non-message nodes. So all these message nodes, so as I told you, you either send an email or you send a push notification, SMS. So these are your actual message nodes where you configure what email goes out, what SMS goes out, push notification, and so on. Your flow control, which I'll talk about in the next slide. I have a dedicated slide for these, is helps you in deciding how the journey flow will be controlled, how the users will navigate through the journey or proceed to a subsequent step in the journey. Sales and Service Cloud nodes help you when you want to update a particular Sales and Service Cloud node. For example, update a contact, a lead, account, opportunity, and so on in Sales and Service Cloud. Customer update is if you want to update a specific contact data while the user is traversing through the journey, while the user is navigating through your journey, and you want to update a data in a data extension. For that, you use update contact, and for personalization activities is used when you want to do personalization using Interaction Studio, or which is now known as Marketing Cloud personalization. Advertising nodes will be used when you want to create an audience and send them to a particular campaign on Facebook, Google Ads, and other marketing platforms that can be integrated with Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Right, so these are on a high level the different journey nodes. Looking at chat. So when a Salesforce data journey source is it a synchronized one champion refer to as specific. Yeah, so inbound chat ingest contacts who send specific keywords. Yes, it is SMS keywords. And Salesforce data, I'm not exactly sure if it is synchronized data extension, but I think it is synchronized data extension. Mostly, yes, synchronized data extensions. Yes. I may need to confirm that, but yes, most likely it is that. Okay, journey builder activities. So in this slide, I'm talking about these flow control nodes that you see in this section. So these nodes broadly can be categorized into 4 sections. One is all the split kind of nodes, which is your decision split, engagement split, scoring, join, and random split. So these kind of nodes will help you to split your journey into multiple paths. Then there is a second category of flow control nodes, which can help you to add some delay. So you want to add a delay of maybe 1 day, 2 day, 3 day between your consecutive messaging, your email message, SMS message. That is when you want to add a delay. So this delay or wait can be added by attribute, by duration, or until a chat response, until date, until event. So I think by the name it is kind of clear that the wait added until date means wait until a specific date or wait until a specific event. Wait by duration, like wait for 3 days, fixed 3 days. So path optimizer is used when you have different variations on a journey path and you want to test them, and path optimizer will then help you determine which is the best journey path in your journey builder, and you can then select that as the actual path that you want to implement in your journey. Then you have Einstein nodes, which have all the machine learning capabilities, send time optimization, frequency split, scoring split. Okay. Journey versions. Yeah, so once you create a journey and you activate it, that goes out as version 1 of the journey. But then after the journey has gone live, you may realize that you want to stop the journey. You might want to make some changes, fix something, and roll out another version of the journey. So that is how you have an option to create a new version, make changes, and go live with that. And then that is how you create different versions of the same journey. Yeah, but at a time, there can be only one active running version of the journey. Yes, and you have an option to pause a journey, stop a journey. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, now I am in the Marketing Cloud interface, and for the purpose of this demo, I created this journey, which I will build it together over this session, but just wanted to give you a high level understanding of what the journey is about. So here, just for the purpose of the demo, I've assumed, like, let's say we want to build a welcome journey wherein we want to welcome all the new users who have just signed up on our website, just signed up on our website. They provided us with their email address, with their phone numbers, and we want to welcome them by sending out a series of emails. So this is a welcome journey. Now it may be possible that you have multiple languages that you want to use for your communication. You may want to use English language for English speaking users, Spanish language, or any other language for other language users, and so on. So we'll see how do we create this sort of a branch. Then we want to add a delay of 4 days between two consecutive emails. So email, we want to send out an email one, then we want to wait 4 days and then send out email two. Then after, so these emails could be like some sort of a, advertisement or messaging which tells you about your product, your services, and towards the end of the journey, maybe you expect them to complete a transaction, and then towards the end of the journey, you want to check whether the users have done a transaction or not. And yeah, so maybe the objective for this journey, for this welcome journey, is to encourage users to do their first transaction, right? So just a hypothetical scenario, actual scenario may be much more different, may be much more complicated, may have much more channels than this. But for the purpose of this demo, I wanted to keep it simple and try to include as many functionalities as possible, like the decision notes, the delay, the contact updates, so that all of us know how to use these notes as per our actual journey requirement. Right. And I created these two data extensions. So first one is I created a welcome users data extension, which I'll be using as an entry source for the journey. It's quite straightforward. There's a subscriber key, email address, first name, last name, the date when they joined, join date, subscribe date, you can call it whatever you want, a language preference, whether the language preference is English or Spanish, entered the welcome journey. So I'll show you how do we set this flag to true so that we can track of all the users who have already entered the journey and whether they have done a first transaction or not. First transaction done, true or false. And the second data extension that I've created here is a purchase data wherein like from any other platform which is integrated to Marketing Cloud via API, ETL, and so on. I assume that we already have the purchase data ingested into Marketing Cloud by subscriber key. So in this case, we have two subscribers, 1 and 2, and subscriber 1 has already done a transaction with transaction ID T1, quantity 5, price 100, and this is the order date or the transaction date. So this is the data that I'm going to use for the journey. There's a very big question in the chat. I try to take a look on. Okay, so Yeah. So this is the journey builder dashboard that I talked about earlier in the presentation. You have left hand side, you can create folders. This area shows you list of all journeys, status, performance, filtering, analytics, right? And you can search. So I start by creating a new journey. In this case, I want to create a multi-step journey. So I'll select multi-step, create. Yeah. So for the purpose of this demo, I want to use data extension as the entry source. Right. So this data extension welcome users, which again could be created by some automation running in Marketing Cloud, or it could be ingested via API, ETL. So how this data extension is created, that necessarily is not related to how the journey is configured in Journey Builder, but there could be different ways of how data is collected into data extension, but that will actually depend on how your implementation in Marketing Cloud is done. So for now, I'll just assume that the data extension for the journey is ready. So I selected data extension as the entry source. Then I'll click on this, select data extension, and I'll get this option to select the data extension. Yeah, if I want, I can also filter the data in my data extension. So let's say I have in my data extension, I have all historical data, but I don't want to include the users who have joined before 1st of March. So I only want to include users where join date is greater than 1st of March. So I can still use my historical data extension, but I can set a filter here so that old or historical records are not added to the journey. But for now, I'll leave this blank. Okay. So my entry source is configured. So for this demo, we are considering data extension, but if needed, we can use the other entry sources, as I mentioned earlier. Then next. Okay. So now in this data extension, I have added a flag wherein this flag I can use like in some other query or somewhere else. Let's say I want to filter out the users who have already entered the welcome journey, and I don't want those users to add into some other journey, right? I want them to exclusively receive emails from welcome journey on and not any other journey. So this flag will help me identify, okay, that let's say if 001 has already entered the welcome journey, then in some other journey, I can use this flag and exclude those users where this is true. So how do I set this? So what I can do is I can use contact update activity, and there I can go select my data extension. I will select my same welcome users data extension, and then here you set an attribute. So I want to set entered welcome journey as true. So what does this means? As soon as a subscriber enters the journey, their flag will become true. That means these users have entered the journey, and if there is a need to exclude them in any other journeys, I can use this flag, right? So that's my first step. Then my second step, I want to take a decision whether should I send them an English language email or a Spanish language email. So for that, I'll use decision split. So I'll drag and drop decision split. I'll go to the node. So any node that you use, basically there are two steps. First is you drag and drop that node, and second you configure that node. So first step, when you drag and drop, it appears as a gray node. And once you click on it and do the necessary configurations, then the color will change to orange. So in this case, I want to take a decision So, okay, when you go to this config option, I'll just go back and show you. And you click on this edit option. Basically, you are trying to select a data extension and a field basis on which you want to take the decision. So here you will get two options, whether that decision needs to be taken on a journey data or a contact data. So journey data means the data extension that is used as the entry source. So if I click on journey data, it will automatically show me the welcome users, this welcome users data extension and all the fields here. And second option is contact data. So if you, when you use contact builder, data designer, here you can create sort of a data model design wherein all the different data extensions are linked. So I assume this would have been covered in one of the previous sessions or maybe in one of the upcoming sessions. But when you do a contact builder data model design, that is when you link all your data extensions, you define the relationship like it's a one-to-one relationship on subscriber key. So if you want to use the entry data extension field for your decision, you use journey data. But let's say you want to use some other data extension. For example, when I want to use the purchase data extension, which I'll show you when we configure that step. In that case, I will have to go to contact data, subscriber data, welcome, purchase, right? So these are my purchase fields. So if you see the paths, it says contact data, subscriber data. So when you hover, it says contact data, subscriber data, welcome users, and purchase. So this is dependent on this configuration. Right. So in this case, I want to take a decision based on my entry data. So I'll select journey data and say language preference. And language preference equals to E. So in my data extension, I have language preference E for English, S for Spanish. So I'll select E, I'll give this a name, language. Sorry, this is the name of the path. So if language equals to E, language preference equals to E, then go to English path. If not, then go to Spanish path. Right, so you'll see English and Spanish here, the names that I used for the paths. This you can name as language preference. Right, so you have now added a node which will help you decide what's the language preference for that user. Now, after that, we want to add a messaging node. So messaging node, so I want to add an email node. So I'll select email, then I click on email. It'll ask me to select the email or basically locate the email which is created in Email Studio already. So yeah, but for the purpose of this demo, I already have 4 emails created. Welcome email 1 English, welcome email 1 Spanish, welcome email 2 English, welcome email 2 Spanish. Right. So first, for the English path, I want to send English welcome email 1 English. I can set the message configuration, delivery options, and if I can also go with the default options. Yes. So I have my email node 1, which is welcome email 1. Right. Similarly, for the Spanish path, I want to configure Spanish email 1. So yeah, basically my journey here is to send out 2 emails to a user, 1 and 2, dependent on their language preference. So 1 and 2 English, 1 and 2 Spanish. So that is my journey. But in reality, this could even be 5 emails, 6 emails, and so on. So yeah, I will select welcome email 1 Spanish. Right. So this is email 1 done. Okay. Now I want to add a delay of, let's say, wait for 4 days. So this can be done simply like there's one option, wait by duration. Oh, sorry, wait node is already there. So you can just say wait for 1 day, 2 day, and you can increase this as much as you want. And you can also specify a time. So not just day. So like if you say wait for 4 days, it will wait for 4 days starting now or starting when the previous message was sent. And then if you say extend till a time, so it'll wait for those many days and then also till the time you specify. So it essentially it means wait for 4 days and then next 10 a.m. So that means you want the next message to be sent out only at 10 a.m. So that is wait by duration. Right. So this is one option, simple wait by duration, and second option is wait by attribute, wherein you cannot have two wait nodes side by side. This will often happen when you try to drag and drop some node and it will not allow you to place it. So just add any other placeholder node in between and then you can add the node that you want. So now if I try to add wait by attribute between these two, it will allow me to add. So wait by attribute. So this is not just simply wait 3 days, but wait 3 days with respect to a specific field. So it'll automatically allow you to select any date fields in your data extension. So again, in my data extension, I have join date as a field, right? So just for the purpose of this demo, this example, I'm showing you how you can use this join date field and say wait for 5 days after the join date, right? And then again you can extend this to a particular timestamp, time value, like wait for 5 days and then 10 a.m. after that. So you have options on, before, after. Right. So just I wanted to show you how we can use wait by duration and wait by attribute. Similarly, wait until date will ask you to set a specific date, like wait until 31st of March. In that case, that wait will be constant for all the users who enter the journey. Wait until chat response, wait until event, app event, push event are similar. Like only the event wait until what changes, but the idea is same. Wait. I'll quickly check. Chat works. Yeah, it seems the questions are answered. Okay. Yeah, so we've added our first email nodes. We've added 4 days after join date. Now we want to send our second email. So after a delay of 5 days, we want to send out our second email. So we click on the email node. It asks us to select a message. We can select welcome email to English. Right. So this is welcome email to. So as soon as a user enters the journey, first the user flag is set to true. Then a decision is made whether language preference is English or Spanish. Then email 1 is sent out. Then there is a delay of 5 days. Then email 2 is sent out. So we can replicate the similar delay here for this branch as well. So if you want to copy a node, you can use this copy activity option here. So when you click on copy activity, it allows you to select a series of consecutive nodes. So let's say I want to copy this node and this node. So you can select a series of nodes, but all of them have to be consecutive. So you cannot select this node and this node. All those have to be consecutive, but the idea is to sort of create a series of nodes that you can directly copy and paste in some other branch. Right. So let's say I just copy these two nodes, copy selection, and then this gets added into my clipboard. So now I have a new node that I can drag and drop, which will give me two activities, two nodes, sorry, same as these, right? And then I can go to the second one and just edit that. So instead of email to English, I'll change it to email to Spanish. So I can go here and say, select different message, email to Spanish. Yeah. Right. So we also saw how to use the copy activity. So once again, you click on copy activity, you see, click on a series of nodes. And when once you click the button, this will show up in the clipboard, and then it is available for drag and drop, just like any other activity here. Okay. Then next node that you can use. Yeah, so we've seen decision split. Next one is engagement split. So engagement split, you can use this to take a decision based on the engagement on the previous node. So in this case, the previous node is welcome email 2. So now let's say you want to take a decision whether if a user has opened or clicked that email, then go to path 1. If not, then go to path 2. Yeah, so first it will ask you to select the message, welcome email 1. Then you can select the metric on the basis of which you want to take a decision. So like here we took a decision based on language preference. Here you take a decision based on whether the user has opened the email, clicked the email, or the email has bounced. So let's say I select open email. So that means now we have two paths here. If email 1 is open, then this is yes. If email 1 is not open, then this is, then go into the no path. And then again, you can have a series of decisions, emails, whatever you want to configure in these paths, you can do. Like for yes path, if email 1 is not open, then maybe send out another email with a different subject, hoping that the user will open that email or a different content altogether, right? So the idea is how you are able to use these different flow control nodes to take some decision. And then based on that decision, you can then have different communication messages, like a different email and so on. And just like email, I showed you email. Similarly, you can also have a SMS as your communication. So let's say if the user has not opened the email, if they open the email, then it's fine. If they have not opened the email, then you want to try sending out an SMS. And just like email, when you click on an SMS node, it will allow you to select a specific SMS that you have created. For this purpose, for the purpose of this demo, I haven't created any SMS, but the idea is very similar. You create an SMS separately, and then you come here, you can select that SMS, and that will be referenced in the journey. Right, so this is one use case where you can use your engagement activity. So if the user is not engaging with the email, there's no, if the click is no, or open is no, or if bounce is yes, then try sending an SMS. Right, so okay. So this one decision that we took here was on the basis of an attribute which was present in the entry DE. So we use this language preference attribute. Now let's say we want to check for a condition whether user has made a purchase. And how do we check whether a user has made a purchase? By checking if a user entry exists in the purchase data extension. So for that, yeah, what we can do is we can create this again, a decision split node. Check transaction. Okay. And now within the node configuration, what is it that you want to check? You want to check whether a user or whether a subscriber or user entry with the subscriber key exists in the purchase data extension or not. So to do that, you go into edit, or I can just name purchased and not purchased. So purchased would be, again, I get two options, select contact data and journey data. So this time the decision is to be taken based on another data extension, which is not part of the journey data or the journey data extension. So I'll select contact data, but the prerequisite is that this should be linked here in contact builder data designer. Right, so I have it under subscriber data, welcome user, purchase, and I'll select subscriber key here. So if I have a record in the purchase data with the subscriber key same as the user that has entered the journey, and if subscriber key is not null, so let's say if 001 user has entered the journey, then it will try to check if 001 user exists in purchase. If it is not null, that means purchase done. Similarly, for second user 002, it will try to check does 002 exist in purchase data action. Does not exist, that means purchase not done. So subscriber key is not null. So I'll call that as purchase branch. And when subscriber key is null, then that will be not purchase branch. Right. So once again, I have created this decision node, check transaction, and I have two paths, purchase, not purchase. Now I have this decision. Now again, based on this decision, I can send out another email, third email saying, if you've already purchased, the messaging in that email, thank you for the email. We hope you are happy with the product service, and we hope that you would consider transacting again, and so on. So that messaging for that for the next communication would be based on that the customer has already purchased. And if they are not purchased, then second or the next communication could be something in line with that they have not done a transaction and you want to encourage them, maybe provide an offer or a coupon code discount and so, right? So the idea is to understand how do we create this decision node, and based on that decision, what you want to do, you want to send an email, you want to send an SMS, so on. That is totally dependent on you, like your use case or your journey design. In this case, what I thought is I won't send out any email or a message. I just want to, so in my data extension, I have this flag, first transaction done. It's a Boolean field. So what I want to do here is that check the transaction, and if the transaction is done, then update the contact record in my data extension. So again, I'll select the data extension, welcome users, and I'll say, select the attribute, first transaction done, true. Let me just save the journey. Yeah. So in this case, what I've done is I have set a contact update activity. I have used a contact update contact activity, and I am updating a record just like how I used it here to update the record to set entered journey as true. Similarly, I'm setting first transaction done equals to true in case of purchase. And in case of not purchase, I just want to set this as false. So instead of configuring the node again, what I can do maybe is copy activity, copy the node, copy selection. I have it here in my clipboard. Yeah. So I have the copy of the same node. I can just go and change the true to false. So in this branch, I am setting not purchased. I'm setting the flag to not purchase, and I'm setting the flag to purchase, right? So yeah, and the last one which is used more often is the join path. So let's say this set of activities like check the transaction and update activities, this you want to do for all the branches, be it English or Spanish, be it open, not open, and so on. So rather than configuring the same set of nodes again here, what you can do is you can connect these two branches here. So after a user goes into this branch, language preference is Spanish, these nodes, and then the user can go back here. And the journey would then be a common journey for both the set of users. So you don't have to configure the same nodes again for the second branch. So for that, what you can use is join. So what join will help you do is you can join the journey from here to any other path. So in this case, what I want the users after their Spanish emails are sent out, then I want them to join back to the main journey and continue the check transaction and so on, because those are not language dependent. Those are language independent. So I'll drag this here and put it here. So this gives me a join, right? So users enter the journey, language preference splits them into two branches, English and Spanish. Then within English, they have their emails, Spanish, they have their emails. The wait time could be same, could be different. Then you can have more, you can have SMS and other forms of communication. And then towards the end, I want both the paths to merge again. So I use the join node, and then I check a transaction. Finally, did the user carry out a transaction, yes or no, and then I want them to exit the journey. So yeah, so just trying to see if we have used all the different type of flow control. So we use decision split, engagement split, join, wait by attribute, wait by duration. Yeah, the blue ones, Einstein, I'm skipping them for the demo, but yeah, they, for that you need to do some Einstein feature configuration, and then based on that you can use. I can maybe show you the STO. So STO delay, I think, is, so what this will do is the AI capability, the Einstein, what it will do, it will analyze all the open times for the individual users, and then it will suggest what's the best time frame to send out the email based on their actual user open time. And then what you can do is select a time frame. Einstein STO optimizes the send time. What's the right send time for each and every user, rather than a generic send time of, let's say, 4 hours from the last email and so on. You can select a specific send time that is more relevant for that specific user. And then you can say within the next 4 hours after this delay, send it as per their send time. Little bit tricky, not as straightforward as the other wait durations, but yeah, you can refer to the help center articles. And it enabling these Einstein features required some data collection and there are some thresholds, and the data collection and processing takes couple of days or weeks to process, and then only it can be used. So yeah, so once your journey is ready, please check the chat box. Yeah, I see all the questions are mostly answered. Yes. Okay, so now our journey is ready. So next step, okay, before going to next step, yeah, quick options. You can configure a goal for the journey and an exit criteria. So what is the goal? So for any journey, you would have an end goal in mind. Like for example, this journey, your end goal is to encourage the user to carry out their first transaction. So if you configure a goal for this journey, so in this case, I will say like if I have a subscriber record present in my purchase data extension, that means they have done at least one transaction. Same as my check transaction nodes, the same condition, same configuration. Then I can say that users have achieved the goal for this particular journey. So I'm configuring this as the goal for my journey. That means the journey analytics or the journey report will also show me what's the percentage of users that have completed the goal of this journey. So once I've configured the goal, like in this case, I want the subscriber key entry to be present in purchase data extension. And then I have an option when the customer reaches the goal, they will exit the journey. So halfway through the journey, they've already done a transaction. Then if you select this option, they will exit the journey and they won't go through the subsequent messaging like email 2, email 3, and so on. But if your program design is such that you still want them to receive email 2, email 3, and so on, then you should not select this option and let the user go through the rest of the steps of the journey. And you can also select like I want some sort of a target, like I want 100 people or X percentage of my population to achieve this goal. So that is also possible. So that is my goal. Exit criteria. So exit criteria, let's say if I do not like if a user performs certain action and after that the journey is no more relevant for them. Let's say a user has opted out or they have ended their subscription or canceled their account or whatever. So if any such action taken, then I want the user to exit from this journey. So again, I can create a criteria just like how I configured the goal. It will allow you to select the data extension, the field, and so on. And that becomes your exit criteria. So as soon as that criteria is met, even during the journey, the user exits the journey at that point, and then the rest of the steps are not then the user does not go through the remaining steps of the journey. I believe the exit criteria and the goal configurations are evaluated during the delay nodes, during the end of the delay node. So every time after a delay, there's a next step. So here the goal and exit criteria, I believe, are evaluated. I may be wrong. You can check the help center article. So yeah, after email 1, after this wait duration is going to end, it will check the goal and exit criteria if we have configured, and then it will decide whether to proceed to the next step or not. So that is goal and exit criteria. Okay, then we have similarly mobile events exit criteria. Then settings, journey settings. Yeah, you have an option here to copy a journey. So if you want to create a copy of this journey, you use this copy journey option. If you want to delete the journey, delete the version. Okay, journey settings. Yeah, there's one interesting option here, contact entry. select contact re-entry mode. So this depends. So there would be certain journeys where you would not want the user to enter again. For example, a welcome journey. Classic example, you want the user to go through that journey only once. You don't want the user to re-enter that journey again. So for those, you select no re-entry. Then there could be other journeys, which is like, for example, cart abandonment journey. So cart abandoned, they have abandoned the cart and you want to send them a series of 3 emails. So in that case, you want them to re-enter, but only after exiting. So once they have received the 3 emails and then they abandon the cart again, you want them to again enter the journey. So in that case, you select re-enter only after exiting. And if your journey is such wherein the users can enter the journey multiple times for every time the same action they take, then you select re-entry anytime. So in that case, what will happen if user, let's say, has entered the journey and have received email 1 and email 2, and then they have done the same action and again enter the journey. So again, they'll receive email 1 and email 2. So yeah, mostly I use this journey when I want to test or QA the journey, because I want the test records to enter my journey again and again. So that is when I use this option. Email attribute, whether the email address field should be selected from the entry data source and this field, which is email address, or you want the email to be selected from the contacts, not from the entry data extension, but from the contacts. And when you select contacts, the subscriber key would be selected from your email entry data extension. But it may so happen that the email address against that subscriber key has changed. Let's say the subscriber key used is customer ID or a user ID, and the customer has changed their email address halfway through the journey. So in that case, you can select use email attribute from the contacts. And same for mobile number. So for this example, let's say I'll just use re-enter anytime and save it. Yeah, so that is journey settings, save. Okay. Now we are approaching towards the step wherein we want to go live with this journey, or we want to activate this journey. But before we do that, we have to validate the journey. So when you click on validate, validate will Salesforce Marketing Cloud will validate the journey and find out if there are any issues with any of the nodes configured, if there is some configuration missing. So in this case, it says entry source must be configured. So what is missing here is I have not yet selected a schedule. So when I go to this option, I have 3 options to select. Run the journey once, means as soon as the journey is activated, the journey will run once and finish. Or you want the journey to run on a recurring basis, like run it every week, every month, so on. Or there is a specific automation that is configured under Automation Studio, and you want the journey to run on the basis of that automation. So this option will be enabled only if you have created an automation in Automation Studio that updates the data in the entry data extension. Right now, I don't have any automation. That is why this option is grayed out. So maybe I'll use run once and select done. Right, so I'll save and validate again. Okay, so validation is successful. If there are any error messages, those will show up and you can then go ahead and fix those issues. And once all the issues are fixed, the journey is ready. And once the validation is success, only then you will be able to activate the journey. So either you can click here or you can click this activate. Without validation pass, you won't be able to activate the journey. Okay. After you validated the journey, there is also an option to test the journey. So yeah, test the journey. So what do you mean by testing? Testing means you can have you have some records in your data extension, and you want to see how, if the users progress through the journey in the right uh, way, or in the right fashion or path that you want them to do. So in this case, I want that user one should go through the English paths because their language preference is English. And I want the user two to go through the Spanish path, right? And also with respect to the purchase, I want the user one to go to the node where purchase is yes, and user two to go through not purchase paths, right? So I want to validate whether my configuration, whether the paths that I've configured are correct or not. So I can go to test option, which will then allow me to select which subscribers I want to use for testing. And I can select up to 10 records. If there are more than 10 records, then you need to repeat this testing process multiple times. So you, if let's say you have 30 records, then you have to split your testing into 3 parts, 10 records, 10 records, 10 records, right? So I'll select the 2 records, click on summary, and I'll say start test. Okay, so the testing is done. Now we can, so you will see a blue line which shows the path that a particular user record will take. So you can use these left and right buttons to go through all the records one by one. So all the 10 records. So okay, this also shows whether the user met the goal. So 001 subscriber, this is the email address, first name, last name, language preference E. So yes, language preference E, the user correctly went through the English paths. The emails would not be sent out. This testing excludes all the emails. So whenever you're testing this, even you have used your actual email addresses, you won't receive the email. So the testing step excludes all the emails. That is mentioned when I go back to the summary page. I show you it's written there. And also with respect to the open and the engagement split paths, whether the email is open, bounce, and so on. Since the actual email is not sent out and this is just a testing email emulation, it will randomly select any path for such nodes. So in this case, it randomly selected the no paths. So user 001, but open, no. 002. Okay, small issue here. What I've done is after email open, I should have joined this path also to check transaction so that user one goes back here. In this case, like the testing record took us to the no path, and here the journey ends. I have not used a similar join path here. If I would have used there, this user would have gone back here and then a check transaction. Anyways, user two, language S, language Spanish, email one, email two, join C. Now this join users goes here and check transaction. Check transaction, it tries to see if a record exists in purchase data extension. It does not find a record, and hence it goes to the not purchase path and the user exit. So by using this test functionality, we can test if all the journey paths, the navigations, all the nodes configured, the checks, are they working fine? Are they correctly configured? So depending on all the nodes that we have, we can have those many records or those many use cases to carry out the testing for this journey. So like if language preference, there are 3 languages possible, then we need to at least have 3 records. Then after language, let's say there is a check transactions, which has 2 options, yes or no. So 3 languages and 2 paths for check. So that means 3 into 2, we need to have 6 use cases or 6 test records to test all the branches of the journey. Right. So based on the decision nodes, you can decide how many test records you want to create for testing the journey. Sorry, test. Okay, here it says sending emails to sample email address is optional in test and do not impact. Okay, my bad. Actually, there is an option if you want to send messages or not. So send only test messages or do not send message. Yeah, my bad. So, but generally, the testing that I do not use the messages because I've already tested the emails separately. So this functionality I generally use to test of the branches, the flow paths, the different branches, the conditions, are they working fine or not? Yeah, and also the update contact activities. Again, this is a simulation, so it won't actually update the data in your data extension. So even after you check, after the test, if you check your data extension, the first transaction done and this I set it during the data entry, but you will still see them as blank. Only when the journey is actually activated and the user record goes through the contact update activity, then only you'll see these fields to be updated. But in testing simulation, these won't be updated. So even after your testing is done, these flags will be false. So all in all, the testing functionality mostly is used for testing the paths, the flows, the different user paths or the journey paths that a user can go through. So we just want to ensure that all the criteria and all the paths are covered and there is no path which is left dangled or no user enters that path. So yeah, so that is we saw validate, save, test, and once testing and everything is done, you click on activate and that journey is live. This is undo and redo version I told you. So once we go live with the journey, so version 1 will go live, and then if we want to stop the journey and make some changes, then create a new version. Then again we want to go live, so for that we'll have to create a new version. So for that we'll see a button here called new version. We click on that and then we'll create a new version. Yes, I think more or less we have covered everything. So entry source, I just showed you data extension, but yeah, others can also be used. Messages, email, I've showed in the demo, but other messaging nodes, just the configuration will change, but you can use others as well. Flow control, we saw almost most of them. Customer update, we saw update contact, and sales and service cloud will be used for updating sales and service cloud nodes. Advertising is when you want to create an advertising a data extension that will be used as an audience in advertising studio. So I don't have this configured anyway, but yeah, I think it is straightforward. You drag and drop and then it will ask you to select a data extension and the fields that you want to populate in that data extension, which can then be connected in your advertising studio as a Facebook audience or a Google Ads audience. So that audience is created based on your first party data, like an email address and phone number. So these either or both of these fields should be there in the data extension. Yes, and other options, yeah, templates. Okay, so let's say you want to save this journey as a template, so you can select this option, save as template, and then you can export it to other BUs. So those templates will show up in the templates tab. History will show you all the contacts that have entered the journey or the different activity nodes within your journey. This is a demo account. I don't have any data here, but yeah, contact history is sort of, it will show you one by one contact key records and which current activity name they have reached, what's the status and time and so on. Templates is where you see all the inbuilt templates as well as my templates, custom templates that you create. Yeah, you can also create tags. Sorry, you can create a tag just like you use in content builder. Yes, folders is also straightforward. So yeah, I think pretty much that's about it. I will check the chat and see if there's any question. I see most of the questions are answered already. Yeah, if you guys have any question, feel free to drop them in the chat box or maybe discuss here. No? Okay. Then I'll take it as that everyone enjoyed the session and understood each and every part that I explained. The campaign association at the time of delivery config. What is the use? Campaign association at the time of delivery config. Sorry, Steshna, I did not get your question. Campaign association at the time of delivery config. How to use contact data in case of Salesforce data as entry source. So I think that was a question previously. So you can use the synchronize data extension, right? So just like in my demo, I showed the welcome users data extension. You can use your synchronize data extension as the entry source data extension. That should work, right?
Vishal, am I audible?
Yes.
Hi, first of all, thanks for the useful session. So actually, my question is related at the time of send email, you see message configuration and delivery configuration, right? Over there, there is one option that we can associate. So it's just like a tag, campaign association. But I wanted to understand how that tag be tracked in that journey, where we can track that if we associate any campaign with that particular journey.
Let me share my screen 1 second.
Okay, can you show more in the delivery options? Click on show more. Over here, you see a campaign association at the last. You have it's none over there. But if we associate any of the campaign over here, how we are going to track this and what's the purpose of it?
I think like in your analytics builder reports, yeah, in analytics builder reports, I think there is an option to create reports by campaign.
I understood that, and even we have tried in our real-time journeys, but Analytics Builder doesn't track this one.
Oh, it does not?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, even I haven't used this option, but I thought that since I have seen that option in the analytics report where you can create reports by campaign. So I
Yeah,
thought
that
that this
happens
can
to
be.
be, yeah, that happens to be if you are actually creating that under the tag section, which is in the setup. Like just before recently, you just showed that way you can create tags just similar to Content Builder. So Analytics Builder are tracking that tags, but that is for the identification purpose. But this is something different because it was not being tracked under the Analytics Builder section.
Hmm. Okay, I'm sorry, I haven't explored this option, but maybe I can go through the help center articles, and if I find something useful, I can share it.
Sure, no worries. Thank you for addressing my questions, Vishal.
Okay. Okay, Prashant has also answered your question. So
There are
Prashant,
multiple questions again, uh, Vishal. So one is how to use contact data in case of Salesforce data as entry source.
hmm. Uh, so again, I haven't actually implemented a journey directly using the Salesforce data. I've used a journey wherein the data from the synchronized data extensions is filtered and added into another data extension, and that is used as a journey. So that is something that I've implemented, but I assume directly using the filtered, or sorry, the synchronized data extension should be possible. Yeah,
We
but
filter
I
or
need to
clean.
check.
Awesome. So how do we filter or clean data or inactive or duplicate if we are exporting into the marketing cloud?
Filter or clean data. So for like, as I mentioned earlier, for the purpose of this demo, I assume that the welcome users data extension is already the final data extension that has all clean process data and that is ready to be used for. There is any additional step of filtering, pre-processing, filling out the missing values and any other pre-processing that needs to be done, that has to be done before this journey builder step. That has to be done in an automation studio. You set up an automation, do that step, and once that step is done, then you can in fact select that automation as an entry schedule option. Where I selected run once, you can select that automation. That means you are sure that the data is already gone through the automation, it is processed, and now it is ready to go into the journey builder. So any pre-processing has to be done before the journey builder step.
So there is
Okay.
one more question. The DE created by the journey in case of Salesforce data as entry source is synchronized DE or standard DE.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, like I haven't directly used the Salesforce data extension as a data source, so I'm not really sure about this. But yeah, most likely synchronized D should be the one.
But uh, verification. Hassan, can you explain it a bit more? What do you mean by email verification? Giving an option mute, so you can try unmuting yourself and ask the question.
I think this email verification or data cleansing isn't specifically related to Journey Builder implementation. This is like a generic email verification step that you want to do.
So yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello, Vishal. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you
Yes.
are. You are
Excel
Hassan.
sheets or any other data. I mean,
Sorry.
so do you have any idea how we can cleanse email or how we can confirm that email is original? Because sometimes the email will be not available or fail to send, right? So how we can handle that type before entering to marketing cloud or before starting our journey?
Ah, okay. So, I mean, my thoughts, unfortunately, I don't think we have any such tool to identify whether that email is valid or not inside Marketing Cloud. You can only find that, once you trigger an email and if it gets a hard bounced or soft bounce, right? So that's how you should be able to identify. But once you're able to identify that, it's better that you do not, send emails anymore to that specific email and either get it unsubscribed or remove it from the data extension so that your team does not use it again to send any other emails. But apart from that, I don't think we have any such tool inside Marketing Cloud to verify whether it's a valid email or not. Because
Correct.
any email tool specifically checks whether it's in the format of a@b.com itself with a valid domain and with whether it's a .com, .in, something like that. So it should be in like a@b.com. That's it. So it doesn't matter whether it's a valid email or not. It only matters whether it's there in that specific format. If it is there, so any email marketing tool will try to send out the email, irrespective of whether the email is exist or does not exist. Probably your
Yes.
thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with Prashant that within Marketing Cloud, this isn't like possible to validate the emails, but there are third-party services available. So for one client implementation, I know that we use a third-party paid service, like wherein you had to pay for individual, like for X number of email addresses, you need to pay so and so dollars, and then you upload the entire email list, and they'll tell you whether the email addresses are valid or not. So third-party services can be used, or if the emails are collected from your website, and if you can implement double opt-in. So once the user has entered the email, you send out an email and ask them to do a double opt-in, and if the double opt-in is successful, only then you enter these users to your journey. So that can be another way of validating the journey. Oh, sorry, validating the email addresses. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? If not, then thank you so much, Vishal, for your session today. So thank you guys for joining today. We will have our next session again on Saturday. See you all on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining.